to highlight some of my experiences towards entrepreneurship. Members gathered here today, it's a great opportunity for us as Islamic University in Uganda, and through the Faculty of Management Studies and by the efforts of our dear teacher, Professor Rector, that if I'm not mistaken, the years have been around IUIU since 1988. I don't know how many years are those. These days you have your calculators in your hands. You can calculate. This is the first time we have gathered here to appreciate what has been taught in class as far as business management is concerned. Other faculties are there and they are doing what they are doing, but for sure we really appreciate this event. And Dean, you have really promised, and I know a promise is a date, that this is going to be a monthly event. I don't know, what did you say? What is our deal? Annual. Maybe you will have to explain why it is going to be annual, but for me, I feel that this is going to be a minute event, every minute. Yes, every minute. I don't want to be too much philosophical, but that means a lot. That means a lot to me, to you, and to all of us. That as far as entrepreneurship is concerned, every minute somebody should be developing his idea. I don't know whether you believe in that kind of statement, and we defy that of the dean. But at the end of the year, inshallah, we shall be gathering to share what we have been doing since this time we have been gathered here. So I feel that this is a great opportunity, and as I will be coming to that position of the university, we have to stand in to develop these ideas. I've gone around and I've seen, and this reminds me a lot as an individual, and I hope members, you know my name. I don't know, please, this is entrepreneurship class. Everybody has his brand and must be promoting that brand. But maybe these are few remarks, but would have been talking since morning up to this time. And I think you saw what disrupted us. And as entrepreneurs, we must take note of that. As entrepreneurs, that is another major challenge to us as we go through entrepreneurship development, power supply. And that means that each of the companies I see here, look at that and ensure that as you operate, you are not going to have disruptions in your production processes. Maybe allow me to go back to class a bit, and if you can recall those who did some commerce in your senior one, these days even social studies at primary school, entrepreneurship is taught, where those in primary school, they are taught about social studies and they are introduced to business ideas. Go back and share these ideas with your little sisters, little brothers, as far as business development is concerned. I know that all of us here, you know the production process. Don't lose that concept of the production process. And always remember that there is input, process, and output. Let us not forget that concept. And what are your objectives? Whatever you are doing, you are putting in some kind of resources. What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? For us, in business management, we want profit maximization. But at the same time, always remember that you have certain values as an entrepreneur who has developed through the IUIU system. I know the challenges. Some people may bring on market some counterfeit products, but for us, as entrepreneurs from Islamic University in Uganda, this is going to be our competitive edge. I know today, don't lose sight of halal, and today that promotion is going on, and IUIU is at the center. And IUIU, in last year, we hosted a workshop, and I think some students participated on halal. Try to develop your mind as far as halal is concerned. And the outside world is wondering what is happening about halal. What is halal? There is a small story. I hope the time is good enough to tell this story. That somewhere in Latin America, there were two stalls. One stall beside the other. One stall, somebody was selling pork, and the other stall, somebody was selling beef. And the seller of beef had written at his premises, halal beef. And the line, for those who were lining up to buy the halal beef, was almost from here to Namakwekwe. Those who know Namakwekwe, you can imagine. And the one who was selling pork was having no customers. Then the one selling pork thought that maybe if he puts the word halal pork, people will come. Please take note of that. Ensure that what you are selling is to the expectation of the community. That is a bit classroom, and at the same time, what is happening outside there. No, we came outside the classroom to combine. Don't lose the theories you have read, the accounts you have read, so that when you combine, you'll be a better entrepreneur. Theory and practice have to move together, and we need to ensure that we maintain the qualities of a good entrepreneur, as we have got them from Professor Adeleke. I know you can sing them, but then, how are you going to reflect them in the society? And this is going to make you to have a competitive edge beyond and above those other entrepreneurs. And what I want to emphasize, that there are so many opportunities outside there, but at the same time, there are so many challenges. As I was going around the stalls, I felt very happy that people can start their ideas today, and Dean has mentioned it, that please don't abandon those ideas. Towards the end, I will tell you my small story, and sometimes some people may say that you are just joking, but I will tell you the story. So please maintain those ideas. I don't know how you are going to keep the teams, but always ensure that your team members, you keep. Now technology is helping us. Share the ideas from today until the day of judgment. The challenges are there. The challenges are there, but you keep on persisting with your ideas. You have read the stories that a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step, and all of us here, we are non-existent. And you know the production process we came into existence. Started small, but now we can stand in front and speak, and people can get the message. Even our businesses, they are nowhere, but they are there. It's upon you to tap those opportunities and tap the right button. Then, as we know, that you start small and grow big, and as we have said, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. I know the time is not on our side, and probably my story takes me back to my class. But even before, what I want to emphasize here in my story, look at your background. Where are you coming from? I hope everybody here has a background. Don't forget that. One of my colleagues gave me a story. Before my story, I tell you my story, that one time a professor went somewhere in Europe, very advanced society. I hope you have read about Europe, okay? And was to present a paper, like as I'm presenting before you. Then people were listening. Nobody could even smile. Nobody. An African from where? From my village. I hope you ask Dean, where is the Vice Chancellor's village? So many miles from here. And the professor could remember how we used to go to buy some items at the shops when he was even half naked. Imagine that stage. Your mom tells you to go to the shop to buy a matchbox or to buy a quarter of the quarter of a quarter of a quarter of what? Quarter of a quarter of a quarter of a quarter of what? You people, you don't know your background. Maybe things have changed. Sugar. Yes. Can you calculate what is a quarter of a quarter of a quarter of a quarter of a kilogram of sugar? It is even a spoon, because the visitors what? But this young professor, by that time, he ran to the shop when he's half naked. You can imagine. But he's the one now presenting a paper in Europe, and everybody could listen, could pay attention. And then the professor concluded that background does not matter. My entrepreneurs, I hope you have noted that. Background does not matter. Where you are coming from, my village in Chotera, I don't know whether there is anybody from Chotera who is here. You can imagine, very far, and nobody could come and join IUIU except me. Okay? Background does not what? Because somebody from Chotera could stand in front of you and speak and you keep quiet. But now the professor concluded that background does not matter. Even if you are coming from, I don't know, I don't want to mention your villages. Some of the villages, you have to first chase away some animals to get water to go and cook. In some villages, some water is like milk. You give somebody that water to drink and says, for me, I don't take milk. You say, no, this is water. But now you are the one making these products. So does the background matter? Does not matter. Then, when the professor finished his presentation, everybody clapped. And they said, now we retire, we go to our rooms. And we were staying in a 5-star hotel. I don't know, you people, whether you know 5-star hotel in Mbali. And you are entrepreneurs. I have not seen anybody coming up with an idea of a service provider. I saw those who are giving the service, those who have got stress, or some shock in order to reactivate the nerves. Assuming you can come up with a touristy company, taking the tourists around and the like. Now, the time came for the professor to access his room. I wish we had time. I would ask, what do you think would have been the experience of that professor all the way from my village? Go to your room, here is your card, and access the program for tomorrow. The professor said, aha. Because even to access the lift, to go to your room, there is no human face. What are you interfacing with? Only the system. Touch here, put here, give this, give your PIN code. And they had already given him the package. And the card was there. I don't know, members, whether you have ever seen a 5-star hotel. There is no human life. Or there is no human being you could see around. Even these days, the airports are becoming like that. You don't need to ask anybody. Just walk your way through up to wherever you are going. You don't need to ask. Just put in your information. Now the professor was stuck, and what was his conclusion? Let me hear among my students. What was the conclusion of the professor? Maybe the time is not there. I would have moved around to ask everybody his comment. But now the professor concluded that background matters. Yes. So members, this is the third year level. I hope the entrepreneurs you are going, this is where we are. The background does not matter, and the background matters. Okay? Maybe after this session you will ask me, sir, what did you mean? But look at where you are coming from. I've told you where I'm coming from and where some people could share water with, okay? Going to the shop and to the open markets when you are half naked. But when you make it and you are determined, it doesn't matter. You could be the one flying the Boeing 707, despite the fact that you are coming from a very humble background. But that means a lot that you have to adjust. So members, I think that is a very interesting story for myself. I don't know for your side, and that is the message. Now, this is entrepreneurship. And I normally, even I told that, I don't know which stall was that. I wanted to memorize each and every stall, but I was commenting that members, as we go through this is not a job. This is not a job. Professor Deleke, this is not an academic gimmick. We are not wasting time. And you are going to see the effects on you later on. And we all have the potential to have businesses, except those who don't want. I want to learn from that statement from the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he said everybody is to enter Jannah except those who don't want. And people were wondering, is there anybody who doesn't become a very big entrepreneur? And you come to give lectures to our students. In fact, one time I attended the quality assurance workshop at it was Dar es Salaam University, and they brought students with success stories. I hope, Dean, we are going to profile these students. Dr. Walusimbi, we said we are going to work very fast to become a professor. Here is a project. If we can profile this group, for sure, it's only that my timing is a bit complicated, but we would give our task that this is our control group. Mr. Siku, Safina, and who? As we go to Bawushi. For sure, this is the group we are going to control. And prove, and Professor Deleke is here, we put up a small project to control or to follow up these students of ours. What are they, when are they going to drop these ideas? When are they going to promote? And who is likely to be the most successful entrepreneur? Okay, and I've noted it on my side, and I know the people I'm going to work with. Now, for my case, I remember during our training here, I did education here, 1980-something up to 90-something, and we had my teaching subjects economics and Islamic religious education. Our teacher of industrialization and development gave us a small project, everybody to write a business proposal. And I will never forget the proposal I wrote. It's unfortunate that I could not put it in practice, but I know the impact it gave me, that wherever you are, you don't need to wait for a pay slip. You need to be paying yourself. And the pay here is not so much direct, you may say, but if you can supply yourself the pancakes you would need to have at breakfast, is that entrepreneurship? If you can supply your chapat at breakfast in your house, and members, I hope you have come across this in your entrepreneurship class, the home production the home productions, let me call them like that, are the first competitors with your products you are put up there. I don't know whether you get that. All the households, all the homes can produce whatever you're producing. Like me now, at home, I can't buy bread. Why? Because I know how to make chapati, I know how to make pancakes, I can fry my cassava from the garden. Now when am I going to buy bread? Unless somebody visits me and comes with a loaf of bread. Am I saving money or am I wasting money? Okay, please pick that. And as you develop these ideas, remember that even households are seated somewhere trying to see how they can supply themselves for these kind of items. So that was my first experience of writing a small business project, and I wrote about a maize mill. This is almost 25 years ago. But I picked the entrepreneurial ideas that I should not be waiting for salary. I don't know whether whoever is here, anybody with a small business at home, just put up your hand. Even this side. No, frankly, don't fear. I'm going to tell you the story. Yes, let us count the hands. The rest are waiters of the sleep. No, who is going to, yes, coordinate Hakim, come and count the hands. Don't look into the faces. People will say, there is one. You justify me. How many hands? You know the question?
Yes.
How
many are they?
How many are they? And these are the people with businesses, small businesses at home. Small businesses. Don't take the pictures of those. But now you can compare. 8 out of
9.
Out of, we know the participation rate here. So members, what does it mean? That as we move forward, let us try to. I remember nobody was in that class. I was teaching master's class, project planning and management. And I told that class that I have my cow at home. One of the students put up his hand, said, "Sir, you are just wasting our time. Because that's not a project." In fact, I had to go to the dean. I remember that, not to Dr. Walusi. There was one Professor Subuka. The student had refused, even those who were doing public administration, to take the paper of project planning and management. They reported me to the dean that this teacher you have given us is wasting our time. He's telling us a story that he has one cow at home. I remember either I went to Dr. Subuga, now he's a professor somewhere, to convince people that what I was talking about was real. Can I tell you how many cows I have? From one, and you can make a very simple calculation of how a cow can multiply, and within 2-3 years, in one cow, you can have 10. The minimum price of a cow, Mr. Mangad, you always buy them. Now if you have 10, and that is side income. Okay, so that was my experience.